Just do it. That was my impression of this guy right here. Do you remember when this guy was a really big meme? Yeah, I understand him like a lot more now that I'm older, and what he said was truly facts. Stop saying and start doing. This is probably one of the biggest things I'm most passionate about, at least right now, because a lot of people say stuff, but they never act on it, and they're kind of like fake in this way. So let me explain what I mean by that. The first thing is that nobody really cares until you actually start doing the things and you have these these results from the things that you keep on saying that you're going to do, but you never do, right? So it's kind of like you see all these people online that they sell courses, they have this big mansion, they have all this, cash, whatever, materialization in that sense. A lot of the times it's fake, and even if it is real, they're kind of like glorifying themselves or they're glorifying other people. And in this case, they have results to show for the action that they did, but they're kind of not really humble. So that's kind of not the route we want to go to. What I mean is that the more you start actually doing the things and becoming successful and becoming accomplished, and the less that you gloat about it online and try to be, so-called humble or whatever that you think it is that you're doing, um, the happier you'll be in general, I feel like, and people will tend to like you more. People care when only when you succeed. Nobody cares what it is like right now. Nobody cares about the process or how you got there. All people want is the finished result. And the people that stick with you, that go along this path with you, and actually care about the things that you're doing and are equally as successful in the end result, or care about the process, are truly the real friends along the way. Fucking One Piece reference. Anyways, um, in any case, you really want to be better than others by doing some action because there are going to be people along the way in the process that will hate on you for whatever it is that you're doing. They don't care. They're just haters because they refuse to take action and cannot see themselves getting any better. And the way that you can become better in anything that you do is by stop saying that you're going to do something and actually start doing it. Accomplish your goals. Just do it. So that is literally like just do it. Like this guy right here is like your main motivator. Like you understand it a lot more now in that sense. And I was watching or I was reading something the other day, and this example came up. You might think, common examples of stop saying, start doing is kind of like the mentality of a bunch of tech people. And you're right, but at least the U.S. is not my example in this case. It's actually from I cannot pronounce his last name, Ren Zhengfei. He's the Huawei like CEO or like founder. And he has a pretty interesting story that I was reading about, so I thought I'd give him an example. So, in the 23 years, initially when he first started the company, after he got out of the military here, he was really struggling for success because a lot of people wouldn't listen to his product, and his pitch or anything, and they didn't want to give him money because he was from a lower class, and there was kind of like this divide between higher and lower class as there was in many parts of the world. But he ended up being really successful because he's like China's largest tech manufacturer now of like telecommunications and I think second in smartphones. But the point is here is that for 23 years in the press, they gave him no attention. For 23 years, he kept on doing door-to-door, sales, increasing his knowledge, gathering support from other people. But I think the biggest thing that we have to like note here is that he was really bold in the fact that even though he was a soldier, even though he was low class, he still felt the need to be able to go and do all of these sorts of things here to achieve his dream. He kept on doing it. He just kept on doing whatever it is that he wanted to do to achieve his goal. And he didn't really let anything stop him. That's more so like perseverance, but the fact that just kept doing it over and over, even though for 23 years he did not see like a big pop up in mainstream media and success from around the world, in terms of like large manufacturing and becoming like recognized as like a global like phenomenon and like, um, I guess like company in general, right? So this kind of just goes to show like for 23 years, imagine nobody listened to your product, and then eventually like you had a really big breakthrough. Like that is when people genuinely start to care about you. And everyone before that, I bet you, are some of his best friends that he has ever met and continues to talk with till this day, and they are also successful. Another thing that I want to talk about is finite time. People tend to think like putting it off and like saying, "Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Oh, I'll definitely start next year." That's like my New Year's resolution. That's not like how that works. If you're genuinely motivated and committed to something, you will know that you only have so much time, right? On average, I think like the average person lives to like what, 72, 80, something like that, somewhere around that range. That varies across the world. But start today and don't start tomorrow. Like think about what it is that you want to do. Like you want to be passionate about something. I highly disagree with people that, I can get into a boring business even though I will hate it. You will be 10 times more happier and 10 times more successful in a job or I guess like finding like a business and doing something with your life if you like it a lot more than if you don't. I mean, that just makes sense at the end of the day. Of course, you can still be successful, whatever you define that to be, if you are a person who is really good at, marketing, manufacturing, whatever it may be, and still do a boring business. You just won't have as much fun with it. Um, so what you want to do with that, basically, like start now. Okay, I've started now, but the next thing you want to do is, like I said before, on social media, especially, it's really hard to like like tell people like, oh, it's like, oh, that's so cool, awesome that you have all this sort of stuff, and then you go ahead and do it, and people are always hating on you because you have nothing to show initially. That's always going to happen. People who don't take action are the most of the time the people who are always going to want to hate on you because they cannot see themselves moving forward in life and starting to do the things that they said they were going to do when they told themselves that when they were a child. And I like to put that as an example because it's like, when you're a kid, you have all these dreams and you never think that they're going to be able to come true, until you're kind of in the moment where you're like, oh my God, I only have so much time. I need to start doing this now. And a lot of people don't realize that until a lot later in their life. And that's kind of like why I'm making this video because, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm younger, but I've noticed this now, but I also feel like it's too late. It's a weird place to be when you're in your 20s. But in any case, you should really start thinking about, okay, I have all this hate blocked. I can start now. What do I need to do? Well, it's not if, what do I need to do? It's how can I be helpful in the thing that I do and how can I be helped? And then you can actually start doing the thing. So it's like you're thinking about an idea, you're thinking about something that you're passionate about. What do you want to do within that realm of the domain? And then, there's two things that I mentioned. How can I be helpful while doing this thing? How can other people help me while I'm doing this thing? And I think with that, there are no consequences to trying on both ends. Trying to help somebody by doing this project or service, whatever it may be that you want to do with your life, extending that to somebody or yourself, there's no consequences to that. There's also no consequences toward reaching out people who are successful in the realm that you're trying to acquire expertise in or trying to go about, fulfilling your life in some sort of way by asking them, hey, do you think you could help me out with this? That is, there's you have nothing to lose. They're gonna say no? Okay, cool. I'll go try like another person that is more willing to help me out. People are always willing to help out other people who are ambitious, young, I guess like bold in general to want to pursue something. And you're kind of thinking about that. Like again, what is your passion or skill that you have, or something that you want to do and continue to do it? Because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to help you unless you reach out and extend, yourself to the world to say, hey, I'm here. I want to do this. So yeah. And then the last step after knowing these two things is that nobody cares and you have finite amount of time is actually doing the thing. And I hear like these four things a lot of the times is one, complaining. If you're on social media and you're just there doom scrolling and stuff and you see somebody who's more successful than you and you're complaining about that, you're in the complete opposite direction of where you should be heading right now. Because at that point you're just stuck and you have no ambitions and you refuse to do the thing that you want to do. Complaining about the thing is not doing the thing. Doom scrolling and wasting your time is not doing the thing. That's just simple as that. Stop, like, take everything out of your life that is not doing the thing and just simply focus on that. Obviously, like, you have other main responsibilities and you have to balance life. But every single day when you wake up, doing the thing should be like your priority. And like doing the thing could mean anything in this case. Like it could mean I want to open a coffee shop. How do I go about and doing that? I want to make a YouTube video every day. How do I go about holding myself accountable to do that? That's what I'm working on right now. And like not doing it tomorrow, right? You always start today. Every single day, what can I do every single day? And not meant to be, that just shows like, I don't know, you're just not confident in yourself, which that's a whole nother conversation. But stop making like these sorts of excuses for yourself because in the long run it's just like going to lower like your confidence and you're not going to be able to accomplish anything. And nobody's going to support you if you're not confident in your ideas. And this was a quote. I don't know where I found this. I read this in a book, I think, but it really stuck with me, and I have it written down somewhere. Where it basically says, "A graveyard is full of people who thought they had more time to pursue their dreams." Very true. Like you only have so much amount of time. Like I said, finite time. Rabbit says finite time over here. Just do it right now. But yeah, this is a really good like quote that kind of summarizes those areas. And an example of something, and 90% of the time, like if you want to accomplish like a dream that you have, you will have to probably form a business. So I like to give this example because I went through this about a year and a half ago, or something like that, when I was starting out trying to pursue what it is that I'm doing. And that's forming a business. 90% of the time, you're gonna have to form a business to do something. And I can tell you that it really only takes 1 week to do if you're on top of it and every single day you're going at it to make an LLC. That is, this is just the example I give. I mean, these are only a handful of ideas, but you have an idea, you need to get an agent, you maybe need to get a lawyer to set up your documents, you gotta, sort out your taxes, make sure everything's good, and that only takes a week. The point is here is that it doesn't really take a lot of time initially to get set up and set yourself up in the right direction to do anything really. The point is that you need to start and start now and do something about it so that when you're 20, 30 years down the line, you don't regret that you didn't do anything. And, eventually when you pass away, you want to have something that you can look back on and say, hey, I did that. I was successful in that. I accomplished, some amount of what I wanted to do while I was in this world. And that's point blank. So, yeah, stop saying, start doing, just do it.